right, welcome back. This is another segment with me with my friend Andy Waldron. If you want to check out the earlier segment, there might be a link somewhere, or there might not be. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm very excited to have you back. And right now, I was thinking actually a great topic for us to talk about would be transportation, more specifically a car, and even more specifically than that, that little blue Grand Am that you sold me way back in the day. It was my first car that I purchased. It was one that starting back, it was a 1987 Grand Am, little blue car. And it was my pride and joy. I remember I couldn't believe that I was getting that thing. But I think to start it out, to kind of paint a picture, so why don't you tell everyone why you were selling it, Andy?
So that car was actually my first car too. I bought it from my stepfather. He bought it new and drove it, and I eventually, they didn't give it to me. I did buy it, or a portion of it, I suppose. And I guess I drove it for some time. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was maybe about 2 years, something like that. I love the car. It was in pretty good shape. But over the time that I had it, there started to be some issues and certainly some rust. That car was known for some rust. Had a lot of fun in it. One time coming back from a party with some friends, I remember I was driving with my girlfriend, and I just completely didn't see a traffic light, blew through it, and got into an accident and screwed up the front end of the car on one side, and lost the headlight, and the one of the side fenders was all damaged, and I was all upset at myself. But I didn't want to pay to fix it at the time. Didn't really want to drop the money on it, and so I kind of drove it for a while, and everyone laughed at me. My car was all of a sudden, kind of looking like a junker, and going down that route. And so then I decided, I needed to kind of up things up, like I got some money. I had a decent job. I was making money. I'm like, it's time to get the car that I've always wanted. And I decided to buy a Camaro. And, I'd always wanted one. I bought it. Of course, it's rear-wheel drive. Living in upstate New York, you can't drive it all year long with the winter time. So my Grand Am, your future Grand Am, was my winter beater. And so I drove that in the winters for some time. And, I finally got to the point where I think I was just a little too embarrassed to drive it anymore, and it was time to get rid of it and kind of go from there. And I guess thinking to sell it, I'm like, I don't know who's going to want to buy this crappy car. It's damaged. It's getting rusted. It's got a lot of miles,
Yep.
and I really don't know what I'm going to do with it, and I don't know who's going to buy it. And I don't remember how it exactly happened, but you and I had started talking, and you're looking to buy a car, and I think actually, I think I do remember one time, we kind of discovered this and your eyes lit up that, you're going to buy your first car, and I didn't know why you were getting excited over this piece of garbage car that I was going to sell you, and I almost felt bad, taking your money for this thing, knowing that, it was, I thought, on its way out.
Yeah.
But you decided to buy it and decided it was going to be your first car.
Yeah,
So,
I was excited as can be. And if I recall correctly, I think I got it from you for $800.
sounds about right, yeah.
I'm not, that's right about there. But I think I got it for you for $800. And at that point, it did still, transmission, engine, everything ran great on it. It just kind of looked like crap at that point. I think it actually had several rust spots and one actual rust through spot in the
Yep,
back.
I do remember that.
And of course, that front end. And that front end, I think actually wasn't going to pass an inspection until I had to do a few things on it. But I had to remount a headlight and stuff. So because like the one side that you hit was kind of course the fender was all messed up. I think the hood was bent just ever so slightly, and then the headlights were all messed up. So I remember the first thing I did when I got it, I had to fix that up and get it roadworthy by mounting. And I think I took a piece of wood and put it behind it and drilled some stuff in and just kind of made it work.
Hmm.
Um, and from there, that thing was my pride and joy. I couldn't believe that I had that. Um,
And I couldn't believe that you had it either. I think I continually would laugh at you. If you gave me a ride, I was embarrassed to be in the car. It was my old car. I tried to get rid of it. It wouldn't go away because one of my best friends still had
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And I think actually at one point in time, I did start trying to fix it up a little bit more with doing some body work. but I was working 2 jobs at that point and really putting away a lot of money. So as I was fixing it up, I didn't have time to finish it. So it had all of these, it was a blue car with all these white patches all over it where I'd started working out some of the bodywork issues. And it just looked horrible because I wasn't getting to the point of painting it or doing anything else. And my parents told me that they didn't want that thing in the driveway anymore until I actually did something with it. They were too embarrassed to have it in their own driveway. So that prompted me to at least go out and get a can of spray paint and throw some more blue on it. But yeah, I think a lot of people were embarrassed by that car, but it was my pride and joy.
Yeah.
But looking back, I think that was a little bit of a defining point for me where I was willing to put up with a lot less and save because I actually had 2 jobs at that point, and I was putting away a pretty good amount of money. But I was getting ready. I was paying off college. If I bought it back, I think I might have been a senior in high school when I got it from you. But I was putting a lot of money away towards college and saving up for the future and stuff like that. And my thoughts were make this thing last, milk it for what it's worth, and hopefully make it to my next stage in life. And I don't know, I didn't have the aspirations for the bigger car like maybe a lot of other people might have, but it was kind of a defining point for me, either, go into debt for my future for nicer vehicles or maintain what's there and save for my future. And I kind of saved for my future. I wasn't, I guess, all knowing at that point, but it played kind of a pivotal role going forward. Whereas, yeah.
I agree. You completely milked that thing. You got, I don't even know how many miles you put on it, but you drove that thing as far as you could. You had it paid for, and you were doing well. And me on the other hand, for a while I had 2 cars. I had that and my other car, paying 2 different car payments. Fixing both the cars, and then when I got rid of it, I eventually bought another car, and buying all these cars, I was wasting my money, and I was buying an older car that I had to put more money into, and I certainly was laughing at you at the time, but looking back, and hearing the story now, you were a smart man that I did not realize at the time. I shouldn't have been laughing at you. Well, I should have been laughing at your car, but not you.
That's true. I appreciate that. It's, I guess, looking back, it's a lot easier to see as opposed to looking forward, where you end up with things. But it was great, I guess, to see the difference now, and it's cool actually catching up with you on these things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you so much again for today, and going over that story. I guess rehashing some old memories there, and
good times
for sure. And I guess we'll leave off for that. Again, if you want to catch any more of my first interview with Andy to get more of the backstory, be sure to catch one of the links below. I'm sure I'll throw one in there. Thanks again, Andy. You have a good one.
You're welcome. Thanks. You too.